If you're looking to reduce your oil temperatures in your N55, stay tuned because today's video is for you. Brian, thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at kiesmotorsports.com. Today, we're going to show you how to install CSF's Race-Spec N55 oil cooler in my F30 335. Now, you may have seen us do an M2 conversion bumper on my F30. Well, we're actually in the middle of filming it. So since we had the bumper off, we figured it was going to give you a much better view of what's going on. Now, for this process, you do not need to remove your front bumper, but by removing the front bumper, it's going to give you guys at home a much better example of what I'm doing. So with that, let's get started with the install. Now, to install the CSF Race-Spec N55 oil cooler, you actually do it from the wheel well. So to do so, you need to remove this wheel liner. So I would recommend putting the car on jack stands. If you don't know how to do that, if you watch our M2 video we're making, it's probably going to be in there. We need to remove our wheel. Okay. So at this point, there are about 10 of these 8mm you need to remove. So we've already moved this one, we removed this one, and then also this one up there because those are holding the bumper in. And then you can see there's another one over here. There's one up here. There's another one over here. And there's one over here. One over here. One over here, and then there's one over here. And once you've done that, be careful of your eyes. I'll just maneuver this down. Put that to the side. Next, what we need to do is we need to release the old oil cooler. So if you look up here where my little screwdriver is, there is a little plastic tab that hangs down. So what you do is you just get that, and you just very carefully pry it up and apply some outward pressure. And then there's another one in the back. And once this is out, we'll show you because I know it's probably hard for you to see. So then you're gonna rock that back, okay, and then just lift it up. And then we pretty much have it free. So if you look right here where I'm prying up with my screwdriver, this is where you're going to pry from the bottom up. So you pry that up, and then, I can't really see, but there's one over here too. Yeah, right there. So you pry that up, you pry that up, and then this whole thing is going to rock forward. So once you're here, you will notice that there is a T30 right there. We are going to release this screw. And then when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have some kind of bucket to catch any loose oil. Now, before I forget, while we're talking about oil, this is going to add 5 extra rows, which is going to add cooling capacity, right? But it's also going to use more oil. So instead of 7 quarts of oil, you are now going to need 7.5. So keep that in mind. After we do this, we're gonna have to top it off with some oil. But also when you do your oil changes, just keep in mind that you need an extra ½ quart of oil. Okay, so then you can take that out. Looks just like that. Okay. And then we'll just pull it off like that. And you will get some oil that leaks out. That's perfectly normal. You're gonna have to top it off anyway. Now, while I have this off, let's take a moment to compare the old oil cooler and also the CSF Race-Spec oil cooler. So when you look at the front, the first thing that you're going to notice is it looks very similar, and that's because CSF designed this so that it can be direct plug and play. Now, the difference is where this only has 13 rows that are cooling the oil, this has 14, but if you flip it on the other side, it has an extra 5 rows. So this is going to be 40% more efficient in cooling than this other one. You will also notice that it has been converted to a single pass. So what that means is it's going to ensure that all of the fluid is going through this entire cooler, giving you the coolest temperatures. Now what I like to do when we're doing these is I like to take off the old O-rings, and then we have some new ones here, just to make sure that you're not gonna have any leaks or anything like that. So there's one, and then there's the other. So now what you can do is take off the caps of the new one, and then we can install our lines in here. Okay. We'll take our bolt, thread that in. Then once you have it hand tightened, you want to torque it to 8 Newton meters. Perfect. Now, if you are planning on saving your old one, I'd recommend using the caps that came with the CSF one, just to make sure that if there is a little oil, it's not going to drip out. Now, with the CSF one, it's built exactly like this. So there's going to be these 2 prongs at the bottom. They're going to clip in the bottom of this plastic piece over here, and then you're going to swing it in, and it's going to mimic up here, and that's going to clip into those plastic tabs. All right, so we're going to get the bottom set up. We'll push that in there, and then you can take the top, and everything pretty much just lines itself up, and then you can clip that in place. Just like that, give it a wiggle, and we're good to go. At this point, everything is fully installed. Now at this point of the process, what you need to do is put your wheel liner back, put your wheel back on, take your car off the jack stands if you have it up in the air right now. And then really the last thing is make sure that you add that extra quart of oil, and make sure you also account for any extra oil that you drained while doing this. Now, for me, I'm kind of due for an oil change anyway, as you probably saw from my oil, it's blacker than night. So I'm actually going to pass on that for now. We're gonna leave the car kind of apart, and then I'm going to do an oil change. But just remember, your new oil change, you need to do 7.5 quarts of oil instead of 7. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put this back, and then I'll see you for the ending. And that is how quick and easy it is. So all you really need to know is you need to torque that little bolt to 8 Newton meters. And again, it's gonna take you more time to jack the car up than it is to actually swap out the cooler. But with that cooler, like I said before, CSF says that it is 40% more efficient. So I am looking forward to those cooler temperatures. So if you're interested in any of the parts or tools we use in today's video, be sure to see the links in the description. Once again, my name is Brian. Thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you haven't done so already, give us a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.